Okay.
That's what I figured.
Everyone's cool with that.
Yeah, I like that.
I like that idea.
I like that idea.
Okay. Recording, so shut the fuck up. Boom 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 boom
Let's check that back.
Wait, no, let's...
No, I want to hear that.
No.
I want to hear that.
Shut up.
I want to
It
hear
could be our
that.
new
Let's
theme
start
song.
it.
Yeah,
Let's
right.
start it. Let's start this.
All right.
Hate both of you.
Hold on.
Be prepared, goddammit!
All right.
Be prepared.
No. Let's start.
Oh shit! Hold on.
Oh my god!
Why'd you start it?
Why did you start it?
Because I told you, I warned you I was going to start it just randomly while you two were being fucking stupid. So let's just do this now.
All right. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Sophisticating Sandwiches Wrestlemania Preview Podcast. Quick warning, each and every one of us is completely underwhelmed with the WrestleMania card, so this is about to be fun. I, as always, am your host, Dale Curtis.
I am Clark V. Tatum.
And I am Jacob Miller Alderman.
And let's jump right into the pre-show. Now, if any of you read my column, you know I complained about how the tag title match was on the pre-show, and they still had the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal on the main show. Well, since I put out my column, that has changed. Now they're both on the pre-show.
See, Dale, you changed WrestleMania.
I changed WrestleMania.
They saw your column on our site, and they're like, this guy knows what he's fucking talking about. So we better move this shit.
But they only took half my advice.
Well, that's how they do it all the time. Just only take half the advice.
I'm still under firm belief that they are recording everything we say in our house, and then they are trying to spite us.
They hate us.
Most of the time.
But for the first match, we'll have it's Kid and Cesaro versus the Usos versus the dancing, clapping black guys versus Los Matadores.
Hey.
And, I mean, I think it's going to be good.
It's going to be a fun match. I didn't even know the Matadors were still a team. I
Right.
thought they disappeared. I guess like it's one of those things where like, oh shit, we need another team. Let's bring them back.
They're being kept together purely to keep El Torito relevant.
Right. Well, God, I hated that when they had. I'm sorry, but they had the fucking midget bull pin Natalia. I'm like, that's just fucking.
Wrestling
stupid.
is dead.
Wrestling is. I don't like wrestling anymore.
Well, yeah, it should be a fun tag match, but my problem is it's a fucking title match. This is fucking WrestleMania. Everything you do leads up to WrestleMania, but WrestleMania is about the fucking wrestling, and you have a title match that's in a pre-show that good majority of the people probably aren't going to see because they're just going to wait for the fucking pay-per-view to start.
And I'll tell you something, most of the people I know would rather watch this on the main show than Cena versus Rusev at this point.
Hashtag Rusev is right.
Yeah, but we'll get to that match soon enough. What is the opening bout for WrestleMania this year?
It's the tag titles match. I mean, for WrestleMania itself?
Yeah, for WrestleMania
I don't know.
itself.
We're going to start with the pre-show, though, so shut up.
Yeah. But here, okay, so the Andre Battle Royale, as I call it.
Second chance battle royale.
Yeah.
The Battle Royal, they put the Ascension in rather than letting them have one of the clusterfuck shots at the tag titles.
Right. Well, and here's the problem, because there's only two ways you can go about this match at all. You can either have Mizdow win it, because there's that feud they've been building forever with The Miz and Damien Sandow that they didn't give their own match for some fucking reason, and now on the pre-show for some fucking reason. So you had to have that, because no one wants to see Big Show or Kane or even the Ascension, sadly, to win it. They don't want to see any of that.
I predicted they'd be stupid and it'd be Ryback.
Oh my god.
That's my prediction.
I don't even
The
want
Ryback.
That's when we stop watching WrestleMania.
That's
Ryback wins the Battle Royal.
I will tell you something, though. If it is Curtis Axel, that will prove to me WWE knows what they're doing.
Right.
How great would that be?
I'll never question
He
them.
finally won the Royal Rumble.
Well, that's the thing. It's either has to be Mizdow or it fucking has to be Curtis Axel. Then he's still the longest running.
No, it's going to be the Ryback.
Oh,
I don't want to believe that. I don't want to believe that. Who do you predict?
I think we can agree whoever it is, it doesn't fucking matter.
No,
Yeah.
really, no.
It was Cesaro last year.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
hey.
since when has the Battle Royal ever changed wrestling history?
Well, and that's my other problem with it. Battle Royals where, like, the Royal Rumble's fine.
Mm-hmm.
But Battle Royals where everybody starts in the ring, they're fucking boring.
Yeah,
Right.
They're
not-
boring as shit until you get down to, like, 4 or 5 people.
Right.
And even then, they're usually pretty boring. So I don't know. I mean, I'm glad it's on the pre-show now. It didn't deserve a spot on the main show, but the tag titles did.
Right.
Okay, so
And that kind of annoys me.
So we're doing official. Who do you think's going to win for the
I
Battle
am
Royal?
praying either Mizdow or Curtis Axel, but out of those two, the most likely is going to be Mizdow.
Okay, what about you?
I want it to be Curtis Axel, but it's going to be Ryback.
I really don't want to say Ryback, but I think it might be Ryback. But for the faint sense of hope that I have, I'm going to say Mizdow. I would love to see Curtis Axel win it, but I really don't think.
But
he will.
it's still, even if Curtis Axel does win, it's still a shit on that whole feud that they build up for so long that it's just so ridiculous.
Okay, so now the tag team match. Who do you say it's all involved? It's a giant fucking clutch of fuck.
The tag titles match is Kid and Cesaro versus the Usos versus New Day versus Los Matadores.
Who do you think's going to win that, Dale?
I think Kid and Cesaro will retain. I think this is a no-consequence match that needs to fill time, really.
Right. Well, and it needs to fill time, but they put it on the pre-show.
Fill time at the pre-show.
Yeah.
Renee Young can't talk and be beautiful the whole hour.
That's
disagree.
bullshit. She can. They are not giving her enough credit. Renee Young, you are wonderful. You are a very intelligent, wonderful human being.
We all love you.
Yes. But no, I personally agree. I think Kid and Cesaro, I would love to see them win it and retain it and continue to be tag champions. And because I think they actually make a really good tag team.
Yeah.
I don't know how much they used to work together in the indie scene at all, but they seem to have a really good chemistry with each other, and their personalities really work off one another. And I would really love to see Kid kind of get the push that he deserves.
Oh, I love
Right.
what they're doing with him right now.
And not have Natalia pinned by the fucking bull.
You're gonna have to.
Yeah,
let
let's
that
not
go.
have Natalia pinned by the fucking bull.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen
It's
because
a
they're both
fucking bull.
they're both not in the match. But I just
They'd fit that somewhere in there.
They
like
would,
Bull comes in,
just to
Natalia
piss us off.
interferes, Bull crossbodies, Natalia pins, and
it's not pretty. Yeah, but I agree the same way. It's gonna be Tyson Kidd and Cesaro. I don't think they have much need to change the titles at this point.
and then a lot of talking from people we don't know, and then Renee Young. They always have some new interviewer or something like that in the pre-show. It's like,
testing
who
him
the
out.
fuck is this guy? What is he doing here?
I don't know.
That's,
I think the
I'll like-
WrestleMania pre-show, they'll probably get, like, HBK and Flair and shit.
Maybe or Corey.
Oh no,
Graves
yeah, they
or-
always do that pre-show fucking
Yeah.
table.
WrestleMania is 5 hours this year. Remember that, everybody. If you're going to watch the pre-show, we've got a 5-hour WrestleMania this year.
Are you serious?
Yeah, well, WrestleMania has always been 4 hours. Now they've added the hour-long pre-show,
Oh.
which actually has some fun stuff on it to watch. So most
Right.
people are just considering WrestleMania 5 hours at this point.
Yeah, I'm
Which is
okay.
exhausting, but not as exhausting as weekly 3-hour Raws.
Yeah,
Oh
I'm
my
fucking
God.
kidding.
I mean, like, as a wrestling fan, you want to look at that and like, oh, it's more wrestling. No, it's more a chance for them to shove more stupid
It's
crap in
more
there.
stretching.
Yeah,
Right.
it's-
Like I've talked about it, the Raws at this
Gotta
point...
get your stretches in there. Gotta get your.
Raw at this point... They can't see you. Visual gags don't work, Jordan.
it's just-
Raw at this point is an hour of replays. You could cut the replays out, and it would be 2 hours long, and it would be a
Right.
fine wrestling program.
Right, and it's
half the
usually
time.
matches from SmackDown.
But
or
how
vice
will
versa.
I know what happened on SmackDown, Dale?
You won't, like everyone else.
That's
Okay, so what is the first match on the actual
I don't know
WrestleMania
exactly what the card order is going to be, but if I had to guess, I'd say they're going to start us with Cena versus Rusev.
card? Really?
Yeah. Well, every other match is huge. It's Orton versus Rollins is the only other one I think they might start with. And they're not going to start with the Divas match because...
Oh,
they
thank
need
God,
to put that
no.
in a losable spot where if they go on too much
Yeah,
time.
they usually put those before the main event.
Which is really unfortunate because it shouldn't be. The Divas matches should be just as entertaining. As NXT has shown, they should be just as entertaining as any other match. They shouldn't
Blue
be
pants.
looked as the piss break. But unfortunately, they have a lot of really untalented people. They're getting better, granted. It's not like early 2000s with how bad that was.
this isn't... We're not talking about Tori Wilson and Stacy Keibler here.
Right. But still bad. And it really should be better.
We'll get to that, though.
Give
Right.
NXT Divas.
Okay, so as far as
match-
Rusev versus Cena,
Yeah.
my one big problem of it, it's regression for Cena. He already won the United States title. That was his stepping stone to the world title.
I see it differently. And I'll tell you why. I think, and I'm jumping ahead just a little bit. I think Cena wins this, and then Daniel Bryan wins the Intercontinental title in an attempt not to lower either of those guys, but to elevate both those titles, and I think eventually unify them. At least if they're going to go that way, that's what I'd do. If you're not going to do that, Vince, if you're not going to do that, keep the title on Rusev. Okay. If you're not going to do that awesome storyline I just proposed, do not fucking take the title off of Rusev.
As we've already seen, you can affect WrestleMania with your articles.
Most people have already written this off as a Cena win.
Right.
I have not. If they're going to do what I said they do, fine. It'll be a Cena win. If not, I think the smart thing to do, the smartest possible thing to do if they're not doing that, is to have Rusev just obliterate and brutalize Cena and win it.
Absolutely.
And take Cena off fucking television for 6 months.
Right.
You don't even have to repackage him. Don't bring him back as a heel, nothing. Just take him the fuck off of television for 6 months. He needs a break. Other than that, I think this is going to be a good match that people overlook. I'm a big proponent of Rusev. I think for a guy his size, I don't remember seeing anyone anywhere near as good as him. So
Except
I think
Kozlov, which they got rid of for some reason.
Yeah. So I think it'll be a good match, and I think either Cena will win, and then they'll go on to do something awesome, or Rusev will win and Cena will go away for a while. Either way, I'm in favor.
Well, here's my big thing. My one real problem, I mean, yeah, you bring up a really good point about the titles and stuff, to more elevate the titles than to lower the person. My really big problem is the fact that this storyline is so old.
Oh, the storyline's dumb. Oh. It's Hulk Hogan versus the Iron Sheik from '84. I mean, Jesus Christ.
Okay, I just want to get in heel mode for a moment here. I just want to say,
heel
Cena,
mode, Jordan.
I just want to say, Cena, your patriotic bullshit is stupid. Rusev is right when he says that Americans are lazy when they don't want to achieve anything. You look at Rusev, he is a super Russian athlete. He tried. USA. He got here because he tried his damnedest. You can't be over in Russia and just expect WWE to go over there and pick you up. You have to be something. Here in America, you can fucking kick a rock and Vince will hand you a contract. Come on, be a wrestler.
All right, would you stop it?
America might be the land of opportunities. That's because they don't give a shit.
Jordan does bring up a good point, though. Rusev doesn't do anything heelish.
No.
All he does is support Russia. He hasn't done anything. If you're not an American fucking psycho patriot, Rusev has done nothing to piss you off.
Right.
Rusev has done nothing to make you angry whatsoever. And that's what pisses me off, because it's not fucking 1984 anymore.
Right, and
half the country is already done with the patriotic bullshit. We're tired of it.
And here's the thing. He's just giving criticism as far as he's done. He's not the one tearing down people's flags or anything like that. He's not doing any of that.
Big Show tore down his flag. They forced him to say I mean, I don't know what fucking more you want Rusev to do to be the best face in the goddamn
right. Well, and here's the thing.
If we're in Russia, you can run this exact same storyline. He's the most over face you've ever seen in your life.
Right, and all he's done is, he's criticized Americans, and Americans just can't handle it, and that's what kind of makes me angry.
Criticism we sort of deserve.
It's like Hassan. Back in the day, it's like, you guys...
Muhammad Hassan.
You just hate me because, you're racist. And they're like, yeah, we do! USA! USA! It's so bad.
And that's my whole point, though. And, I kind of go in heel mode, but I'm serious. It's so stupid. I'm so sick of this super patriotism. I think what pisses me off is not so much they're doing the angle, it's the fact that it's working. It's fucking working. Yeah. Can we not take any criticism? I'm not trying to be so anti-patriotic, fuck America or anything like that. But seriously, does that actually work?
You're talking about wrestling fans.
Yeah.
You see, that's my problem. Is it wrestling fans are just reacting because wrestling fans have been trained to react that way? Or are they really just a bunch of racist assholes at this point?
My theory, and it's simple. Wrestling fans love nothing more than to chant things. Yeah. Heels from foreign countries give them a perfect opportunity to chant USA. They don't care otherwise.
They don't even care if any of the people are from the USA.
Yeah, we've seen that.
We've seen that.
What was it? It was Justin Gabriel versus...
I forget who all it was, but not a single participant was originally from America, and they all started chanting USA.
Oh my god.
And I cringed. I'm like, is this really the fandom
you know what they mean?
Myself with?
That guy's white. That guy's white.
That's really what they're chanting. That's not. It's horrible.
So
it really is.
I still think my favorite was when we went to that showing of Raw and the Spanish guy behind him. Was like stood up. We The people. He was so into it.
I'm
I
not
love that.
sure he spoke English very well,
Yeah,
but he really loved saying "we the people."
But
Anyways,
okay. Who do you like? Okay, so we already got. Dale thinks if you had to pick one to win, who would you say would win?
If I had to put money down right now, Cena's winning.
Okay, Jordan.
it's because I want it to. I want Rusev to win. I don't care. I'm going to say Rusev's going to win this.
I'm gonna have to go with Dale. I really do hope they go with the angle that Dale's saying.
If Cena wins, I hope they do. Otherwise,
How would you put those titles together? Because would one have to be? Would it be like still the U.S. title?
No, you
would
just
it still
drop
be...
one of them eventually.
Right,
that would be my call.
Drop the U.S. title because again, the patriotic act
Except
is
for
stupid.
this
And
is
when
my
a foreigner
problem.
does win it, it doesn't make any sense.
Right.
Intercontinental is the fucking world. I don't understand.
Yeah, I've asked that before.
No, everything except like Australia.
and Antarctica.
In reality, how does the Intercontinental title differ from the world title? That's something I want you listening out there to think about for.
How does
today.
one be a U.S. champion? Is my question though. How does one be like?
They do travel all around the world.
They really do. I've seen the U.S. title defended in England.
Yeah.
It's not like the TV title where that's only defended on TV.
Right.
Well,
There's
even on
no-
pay-per-view. They don't defend
it's
it
really
on
just
dark
the pointless
shows.
mid-card title at this point, which is why they only need one of them.
And why they're probably putting these two guys under it to
Right.
lift it up. Either ways, yeah.
The next match I think we'll get is Orton versus Rollins.
Oh god.
Which is I'm excited for the match itself. I don't like Orton, but he delivers at Mania.
Right.
And Seth Rollins is one of the best performers we've seen in 5 or 6 years. One of the best natural performers I've
He's
seen in
very
forever.
talented.
When I heard he was being brought in the WWE back when he was, I forget, what was his name before? And that's the problem. I can't remember any of the names.
Yeah, I'm having trouble. Well, I think he was Tyler Black, wasn't he?
Yeah, I think he was Tyler Black. And then they brought him in. I'm like, shit, he's gonna last maybe a couple months.
Yeah, I
he
didn't
looked like
see
an
him
indie
lasting.
guy.
Yeah, he's got the indie look. He's not big. And at the time, he couldn't talk.
Yeah.
If you'll recall.
The only problem now when he talks is that his voice, he needs to be a little bit more
confident.
Yeah.
He needs to believe in himself a bit
little
more.
bit. He needs to take some Dusty Rhodes lessons.
He is ripped.
Ripped.
He is ripped like Jesus.
Well, and I was talking about that, and I'm going to take kind of a sidetrack here for a second. I've talked about that a couple times now. He wears a shirt to the ring, which I wouldn't do if I looked like him.
I wouldn't wear a shirt anywhere.
Well,
Yeah.
and
DMV.
then Roman Reigns comes down, and he wears a shirt all the time. If I looked like Roman Reigns, I wouldn't wear a shirt to church.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm just
Aside
showing
from
off
that-
the body that God gave me.
Yeah. Aside from that, we've got Orton and Rollins, and I think it'll be a good match. I'm worried because to me, the outcome of this match means more than any on the card.
Right.
If Orton wins, it's probably a sign that we're seeing Seth Rollins punished for his recent personal problems I won't go into.
Right.
Bullshit.
And if Rollins wins, it to me will be a sign that WWE is completely ready to embrace the newer wrestlers and to move into the future.
Right.
And so to me, this is the match that my view of the future of WWE hinges on the most, I think.
I think, really, though, if they were going to punish him, they would have done it sooner.
You would think.
Because he still has the money in the bank. They would have taken that away from him. I remember when Ken Kennedy had that trouble.
That's true.
And he got it taken away immediately.
That's true, and that was way less public.
Right.
Well, and here's the thing I think that it comes down to. They're waiting for the public to see if the public sticks to it. Because it's just the same with
and I
Edge.
don't think they have. I've heard, I have one friend on Twitter who keeps making jokes about it, but that's about it. I don't hear it from a lot of other people.
Right. And
but-
that's the thing. With Edge and Lita, everybody was like, oh, yeah.
God,
and
that
everybody
went
was
on
like,
forever.
Yeah, but Edge became the biggest star in the fucking company. Well, what's Matt doing now? Yeah, so...
But that's the thing.
Doing drugs and tasing his girlfriend.
Yeah. Was it him? I thought that might have been Jeff Hardy. Or
Fuck you.
Yeah, no fucking kidding.
Okay, but back to the match. I agree with Dale. I think it's going to be a very good match. I'm not a big fan of Randy Orton either. I think he's very bland. But if you put him against a good opponent at WrestleMania, he delivers. Like Undertaker. I thought him versus The Undertaker was going to be a bathroom break match all those years ago. It was actually a really fucking solid match, and it proved that Orton can deliver. I just wish he would do it more often. But yeah, I think it's going to be a good match. If I had to pick one, I would hope that Seth Rollins would win. Yeah. And then go on to... we'll get to that.
I think we're all in agreement on
It's
that.
my hope that Seth Rollins wins.
Yeah, my hope too.
Okay.
The next match, and I don't know if it'll be the next match, but it's the next match I have on my list here, is the Bella Twins versus Paige and AJ. Now, this match...
Can I take a piss break during the podcast?
No.
Like, just skip talking about this match?
Here's the thing about this match. With the wrestlers involved, it's going to go one or two ways. There's no middle ground. Either it's going to be a very solid match that they give time to and they work through very well, as we've seen all four of them can in the past, or it's going to be one of those nights where they find their chemistry is off and they don't click, and it's going to be a shit pile, and they're going to tell the ref to end it after 4 minutes.
Well,
I have enough faith at this point in Paige, in AJ, and in Nikki Bella,
right,
that I think for the most part it will be a good match. But if they're off, it's going to be unwatchable.
And can I just say something? I have a few frustrations right now, mainly with the Divas division. One, the storylines are always written as if they are high school girls.
It's ridiculous. It's like the writers haven't spoken to a female since high school.
Right, and it never seems to change. And two, and this comes to Paige and AJ.
Paige.
Paige. That's the
Why
couple
haven't
name.
they called them that?
Yeah, Paige. Anyways, it's this high school girl fetishism.
It's really disgusting.
It just gets old and
it's
just
disgusting,
annoying.
and it reeks of misogyny, and it's something that does not belong in the WWE anymore. We need to treat these women as if they are competitors and athletes competing for fucking world titles, not 14-year-old girls
Can we get rid of the butterfly
giggling
on the
and
belt?
calling each other fat.
I still can't believe they put the fucking butterfly on the goddamn title. That blows my
The title
mind.
is shaped like a butterfly.
Jesus Christ. I don't have much faith in the match. You might have a bit more faith, but I don't. I mean, yes, they have shown they can compete.
I don't
but the
think
problem
so
is,
either.
for some reason, Diva matches at WrestleMania are just blowful, usually.
Hold on. Divas matches at WrestleMania that don't involve a woman named Trish Stratus.
Right.
Or Natalya. Why does Natalya never have a match at WrestleMania?
That blows my... She's a wrestler. She's not even like a model that found wrestling. She was a wrestler. She was trained by the Hearts. Why does she not have a match at WrestleMania?
There's not enough wrestling women.
I will say this unequivocally, no exaggeration or hyperbole. Natalya is the most talented women's wrestler
on the main roster.
On the main roster right now. As far as NXT goes, I think Charlotte is the only one who's better than her. Or at least has
But there's a lot of really good talent.
At least has the potential to be better than her. But, and I'm not going to get into that very far, but there is a ton of talent on the NXT Divas roster, and it makes me very, very hopeful for the future of women's wrestling. It really does. Cautiously hopeful.
Right.
But still hopeful.
Anyways, I guess we have to choose a winner.
I know who the losers are.
I know who the losers are, the fans.
The losers are everyone.
Yeah, that's...
No, I think with the build-up they've done, the fact that it's WrestleMania, I think you see Paige walk away with the win on this
Paige.
one.
That's
Paige.
That's gonna
I'm calling them Paige from now on.
Yeah.
I agree with you, Paige. Mostly because it's either that or the Bella Twins.
Right.
Yeah, I'd Paige.
Yeah, I'd choose Paige, but I'm going to be a little controversial here. Even though I want Paige to win it, even though I do have that small problem with them, I think the Bellas are going to win it. And it's
why?
I don't want them to.
Hold on. I understand. And here's the funny part. I predicted the Bellas win in my column. And so I'm kind of hedging my bets. If whoever wins, I was right once at least.
Yeah.
But I can see it going either way, because WWE, the Bella Twins do make them their money. The Bella Twins are the faces of Total Divas and the faces of the
total
Divas.
wrong way.
They're the John Cena of the Divas division at the moment.
Yes.
And so I could see it going either way. In my column, I said Bella's. Here, I'm going to stick with Paige. And if I could go back and change my column, I would, because I think Paige is going to win it. But it could go either way, and I can see that.
Okay. What's the next match you have on the list?
The next match is the Intercontinental title ladder match. We've got Daniel Bryan versus Bad News Barrett versus Dean Ambrose versus R-Truth versus Stardust versus Luke Harper versus Dolph Ziggler.
All right,
I fell asleep halfway through that list. That's how long it is.
Well, I have one thing. That match would be great and no offense, but except for Luke Harper. Luke Harper, they always have to have one big guy in the ladder match, and like, no,
well, yeah, but he'll do the spots you need a strong man for.
Right, I guess, but it always bothers me. Like with the last Money in the Bank, like when they started Money in the Banks, it was mostly like smaller guys, and they had like a bigger guy just to kind of do the strong. In the later Money in the Banks, it always seemed like it had 3 big guys,
and one of them was Ric Flair.
Yeah, that was a terrible.
I love Ric Flair. Didn't belong in the Money in the Bank matches.
No,
not even a little.
It was just found weird, but I think this will be a good match.
I think it's going to be great. My problem is, as I've gotten older...
Someone's going to die.
That's kind of it. As I've gotten older and we as a society have gotten more and more information about concussions and neck injuries, it's one of those matches I find myself having more and more trouble watching. Because they're going to do all kinds of crazy spots that could fucking kill them, that's probably doing long-term damage. And yeah, it's entertaining, but... there's kind of this sixth sense I have now that I've gotten older of I'm watching these guys destroy themselves for my entertainment. It's one of the reasons I don't like watching football as much as I used to. It's just hard knowing what these guys are going to have to go through the rest of their lives. That being said, it'll be an entertaining match. The crowd will pop. They'll probably put it in a space that they expect a lull to get the crowd back into the match.
Right.
It'll be really good, and I predict...
I don't even remember who's all in it.
Yeah, I predicted Daniel Bryan in my column because I'm going with the theme that Cena's gonna win. Even if he doesn't, I think Daniel Bryan wins this. I think they're trying to throw us a bone, us Daniel Bryan fans, and so I think Daniel Bryan wins the Intercontinental title.
I think I have a feeling Daniel Bryan's going to win it, but if history has shown us anything, it's going to be Luke Harper. No, but the thing is, I think it's either going to be if they're smart, and I won't even consider the other options, but if they're smart, it is either Daniel Bryan or Dolph Ziggler. I'll accept it if it's Dolph Ziggler over Daniel Bryan. That's one thing, but I'm going with Daniel Bryan.
Here's my thing. This is actually one of the few matches on the card where the lead up has been actually pretty decent.
Yeah, everybody's been kind of complaining that they've been forced, but I actually think it's kind of funny with the stealing the titles bit.
Oh, see, I hate it. I've hated every second of it. If this were Extreme Rules or Fastlane or some other bullshit pay-per-view that nobody cares about, this would be fine. This is WrestleMania. This is the Intercontinental title. This is the belt that Randy Savage and Ricky Steamboat fought over in WrestleMania 3. This needs some fucking gravitas. It needs some respect. And this Looney Tunes bullshit is not it.
I think if you took out R-Truth, the stealing of the title wouldn't have seemed so Looney
No,
Tunes.
he did it as goofy as he possibly could.
Though I still love R-Truth.
I like crazy arachnophobic R-Truth. I don't like any other form of R-Truth. The problem, it's just
it's kind of silly.
Maybe it would have been better, but the problem is R-Truth's character is the only one it fit because it is so goofy.
And yet,
why would Daniel Bryan steal the title? Why would Dolph Ziggler?
I can see Dan Ambrose.
Steal the title?
Yeah.
Dean Ambrose.
Dean Ambrose is another one. If they're smart, it's either I'm hedging the bet, but Dean Ambrose, Dolph Ziggler, or fucking Daniel Bryan. D's. I just really.
Jordan wants the D's.
I want the
Jordan
D's.
loves the D.
Okay, let's quickly walk away from that joke.
Yeah.
See, here's the thing. This is the reason I liked it, because if Wade Barrett wins, it's him fighting to finally get his title back.
Right.
Because he's been frustrated. I think they did it best on the last episode of Raw.
I like Wade Barrett. I just don't think he's going to keep it. I'm making a comment. I love Wade Barrett. I don't think he's going to keep it.
But because, like, the last episode, it was actually kind of came together because he finally got his title back, and they're like, no, I got to hang it above the ring now. I was like, no, fuck you. I'm not giving you my title. If you don't give me that title, I'm firing you. And to me, that's what made it better than if it had just been them stealing the title.
That was cool. But to me, it was not worth 3 weeks of watching R-Truth come out with a potato sack.
Right.
And having Wade Barrett apparently not know the difference between a toy title replica and the real fucking title.
This lost a lot of weight.
Shit like that. It doesn't...
Am I getting stronger?
I was going to say, you've been working out title?
It just doesn't justify what we've had to sit through.
No.
That's
in my
true.
opinion.
If I had to pick a winner, out of the people I remember being in the match, because I'm not looking at the list right now, I'd have to go with Daniel Bryan or Dolph Ziggler. One of those two.
See, here's...
Dean Ambrose wins, I won't be butthurt.
One last note before we move on. I personally do not want to see Dolph Ziggler win this. Dolph Ziggler has had the Intercontinental title on and off forever, and it's not done anything for either of them. He either needs to move up or something, because...
True.
I get that you have some perennial Intercontinental title guys. He's not one of them. He deserves a world title shot, and I think winning this is going to just cement him as the Mr. Perfect, never going to get a world title shot kind of guy, and I hate that.
Right. What's the next match you have on the list?
Next match we have is Bray Wyatt versus The Undertaker.
Okay.
Let's Jordan head this one.
Bray Wyatt has been pushing this thing all by his fucking self. Undertaker hasn't even really made an appearance at all. I don't think he's stepped out past the curtain if he's even been at the shows at all.
I have not seen anything where he's been there, but I didn't watch the last Raw closely. He may have shown up, but I don't think so.
No, but it's so goddamn ridiculous. The reason this see, it's funny watching Twitter because this feud is so hyped. This feud has got so much heat behind it, and everybody's like, "Oh yeah, Undertaker's going to kick Bray Wyatt's ass," but no one's paying attention that Bray Wyatt is the one making this so goddamn intense. He's the one selling the whole thing. He's been doing fantastically these last few weeks.
Him and a lightning bolt.
Yeah, no fucking kidding. Like, there's no reason for the match. It's kind of stupid. I like what they're doing Bray Wyatt.
He's trying to make Taker 21-2.
Yeah, and
who gives a shit?
Right, and it's not his fault.
This should have been last year.
This should have been like, okay, Brock Lesnar, yes, it was huge that he won. It wouldn't have been my choice that he be the one that end the streak, but he's not the worst choice. Bray Wyatt or someone like that, Bray Wyatt would have been, yeah. He would have been fantastic, but now they're doing this year. I don't think Bray Wyatt's going to win, and that's what pisses me off. And if he does, it's not going to mean anything, honestly.
If Bray Wyatt loses this match, I will be a very unhappy person.
It's stupid because he's the new star. He's the new phenom, and the fact that they're doing this match kind of pisses me off. But if they have him lose on top of that, it's just a waste. Since he's the one that's been pushing the feud, he's the one that's been fucking overselling Undertaker. That Undertaker, he's been like, "Oh, okay, dead man, you're dead." And then when lightning comes down or smoke comes out of the urn, he's like, "Whoa, shit!" And he's like, makes me believe, "Oh shit!" And if he doesn't win, it's a shit on him because he is the talent in this feud. Okay, everybody loves Undertaker. I get that. Undertaker's the greatest, whatever. But Bray Wyatt is the new phenom. He's the one that's going to be there after WrestleMania. Undertaker, this is his last year. It's either this year or next year, and it doesn't fucking matter.
That's what I was going to say. This is... Either way, it's going to go one of two ways, and either way, this is Undertaker's last year. Either he is passing the torch to Bray Wyatt, which I think is the more likely option, or he's having his one last win before he leaves, which is about the shittiest thing I can think of, and totally not what WWE tends to do.
Right.
I know Undertaker, he's not bigger than the WWE, but he sort of exists in this weird micro bubble within the WWE.
He's the ghost of WrestleMania.
Yeah, where rules don't really follow him, and so he may win his last match like that. I don't see it happening. I see this being Undertaker passing the torch to Bray Wyatt, albeit would have been more effective last year. It will still be effective. And I think it'll be a good match. I think Taker's a little old, so it'll be based around his limitations, but it'll still be good.
Here's my thing. I really want Bray Wyatt to win, basically because the last couple feuds he's been a part of, he's been the losing end, despite being interesting. Him versus John Cena, he should have beat the shit out of John Cena. He should have done to John Cena what Brock did to John Cena. And the fact that he was set as the loser in that, just because they realized they needed John Cena to do a different feud later on, that pisses me off. And then, didn't he lose against Daniel Bryan too?
Cage match.
Yep, and that's frustrating me because he is one of the biggest talents they have. He's if anything, he's one of the most charismatic. He's one of the most energetic, and the crowd fucking loves him. I have never seen a crowd. The only two people in the last 10 years I've seen the crowd react to like they have with Bray Wyatt, and that's him and Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan, they got the yes. Everyone does the fucking yes. It's a fucking arena thing. Or when Bray Wyatt comes out, they all got the cell phones. They all... Like Royal Rumble. One of the most haunting images in the Royal Rumble this year was Bray Wyatt standing in the empty ring and everyone loving him. It was this sort of weird cult
It was creepy. It was like the WWE fans had joined Bray Wyatt's cult. It was a really cool image, and it makes me wonder if they planned it that way.
Right, even though they completely fucked it over. That everyone's talking about Royal Rumble.
Let's move on for Royal Rumble. That is a thing in the past. We are talking about WrestleMania in the future. I really do think. See, here's the thing. None of the lead-ups to WrestleMania has been that good. But I do think there's some really good matches.
This one has, I believe.
But yeah, it's Bray Wyatt. That's the big problem. Is
been by himself.
Yeah, he's basically been wrestling a broom, as the old saying goes. But yeah, it's one of those things where I want Bray Wyatt to win.
If I had to choose, I'm not even going to think about the other option. Bray Wyatt wins this. Bray Wyatt wins this.
I don't want to think about it either. Bray Wyatt wins.
Okay, what's the next match you have on the list?
The next match on the list is the match that I would have loved to have seen 20 years ago. We've got Triple H versus Sting.
No. This is WCW versus WWE.
WCW has been dead for 15 years. It can't legally participate in a wrestling match.
Here's the thing. Here's why I found so funny. When Sting finally came out, it was actually kind of cool. I'll admit it. For the longest time, I was so sick of the Sting hype. I was so sick of him coming out and interrupting the matches or whatever. But when he came out and started doing his thing, everybody was like, "Oh shit, it's Sting!" And it was actually kind of cool. I'll admit. And he specifically said that he's not here to wrestle for WCW. That would be ridiculous. And then, lo and behold, Stephanie McMahon comes out, and I fucking hate her. If you've seen me on Twitter, I fucking hate Stephanie McMahon. It's not even like, oh, she's that great of a heel. No, she is just the worst at promoting anything. Anytime she comes out, it's about her. At the end of the day, it's about promoting her, and that's the worst thing you can do as a heel. She wears these high heel shoes that make her look tall, when Vince McMahon would fucking dig a hole in the ground just to make himself look shorter than the actual wrestler. And then she comes out and says stuff like, after he said, like, I'm not wrestling for WCW, she's like, oh yeah, you were in WCW, we beat them, and you're here, you're their last soldier. WCW. She really beat that in, even though he was saying, no, I'm not here for WCW. I'm like, are you fucking deaf?
It's like half the writing team wrote for Sting, and then half of them wrote for Stephanie, and neither had any clue what the other one was going to write.
Right.
Here's my thing. I agree very much with Jordan. Seeing Sting in WWE, it's pretty cool. It's a cool image. Like, something you never thought you'd see in your life. Right, they're too old. But it's still cool. It's something you never thought you'd see. But yeah, very much like Dale's, I would have loved...
It's like a black president.
Shut up. Something I would have loved to have seen years ago. It's something because in their prime, they both would have had a fantastic match.
Can you imagine Hunter Hearst Helmsley versus Surfer Sting?
Yes.
I would watch...
When they had all the energy.
I would watch an Iron Man match of that shit. That would be amazing. Nowadays, no. I don't want 10 minutes of it. I have no interest in this match. I have a feeling Sting wins, and it means nothing and nobody gives a shit.
Right, that's the thing. Either Triple H wins, and it's just another win for the Authority, one that never really needed, because this match didn't need to happen, or Sting wins, and Sting disappears. We never see Sting again. It was just this retribution thing, because, oh yeah, he was such a tough worker everywhere else. It was the same as the Bret Hart match. With Vince McMahon.
Oh my god, that was awful.
Terrible fucking match. It was just to make Bret Hart and his family happy. That was the only thing to do about it.
And that's why this whole Sting thing is here. So Sting can make the money, they can make him happy. So yeah, I think Sting wins and no one gives a shit and it doesn't matter.
Right, and then next year he'll be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
That's basically it.
He just needed to work at some point in WWE to get in the Hall of Fame.
Well, Arnold didn't need to.
That's besides the point.
That's a completely different thing about the celebrity wing. Let's move on. What's the next match?
The last match we got for the WWE title is the Samoan Superman, Roman Reigns, versus Brock Lesnar.
Can I make a prediction right now?
Go ahead.
Seth Rollins.
Seth
Rollins comes in.
I think all three of us have that prediction. Here's the thing, though. Here's how I think it goes down. I think Brock Lesnar... I think the crowd boos the crap out of Roman Reigns. They cheer Brock Lesnar. Lesnar wins. But they beat the crap out of each other. It's going to be
a good match.
It's going to be a good big man monster match. And I think they beat the ever-loving shit out of each other. Brock Lesnar's bloody as fuck at the end of it and on the ground. Rollins comes in, cashes in his money in the bank, and wins it. And for the next however many months, you got him feuding with Brock Lesnar.
You know what would make this even better? Brock Lesnar's still bloody. They beat the shit out of each other. He's tired. Seth Rollins cashes in, and Seth Rollins still has to fight a bit.
I would very much enjoy watching that.
Yeah, actually.
Because it would just like Brock Lesnar still not down. He's still not, and they're just
Right.
like, oh, he's so much
You
scarier.
just can't,
that way.
like, the regular thing WWE would have Roman Reigns win it, and then Rollins comes out. And,
Right,
but you can't do that. It's
don't.
just not going to be
right
good.
at this point, I don't think they're under any illusions that Roman Reigns will be going into this match the fan favorite.
Right.
No, yeah.
And here's the thing, especially after the Royal Rumble, with John Cena and Rollins, basically what was John Cena and Rollins versus Brock Lesnar, essentially, you can't have it, like, yeah, Roman Reigns beating the crap out of him, it's still very impressive, but and somewhat believable, but him winning, I don't think is very believable after the John Cena, Seth Rollins versus Brock match. Just because they hyped it up so much. I think Spoonie put it best, for those, the reviewer Spoonie, who does the Wrestle podcast, when he said he's like the Terminator. He comes in and fucking destroys.
Right.
Yeah, and that's what you got to have Brock Lesnar do, and so he has to beat Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
It has to. I would like watching Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins going forward. I would much rather watch Brock Lesnar versus Seth Rollins going forward.
Yeah.
Oh God, could you imagine the matches those two would have? Fucking amazing stuff. I do think it's going to be a fucking awesome match. I do think. I feel bad for Roman Reigns because he is very talented. He is a very great worker. He's getting better on the mic.
The timing couldn't be worse.
He right now he is absolutely not what the WWE universe wants in any fashion.
Right. It's not even going to be that, oh, we didn't want him, so we buy tickets to see him lose kind of thing. No, it's just they don't want to see him. And it's one, because when the Royal Rumble happened, I know we're moving on, but when the Royal Rumble happened, he was out with injury for a while, and it's not even like Daniel Bryan, where everybody's hoping Daniel Bryan comes out. Not many people were thinking about Roman Reigns at all.
Well, no, and that's the thing. Roman Reigns didn't have the grassroots support Daniel Bryan did, and we looked at Roman Reigns as a much quicker version of John Cena.
Yeah.
We watched John Cena get pushed to the top and shoved down our throats over and over to the point where we didn't even like him. And so now when they do the same thing to Roman Reigns, we're wary. And I won't say we, because I still like Roman Reigns and I cheer for him, but the WWE fans very, very quickly turned on Roman Reigns because of that.
Right.
And they didn't, and it was at a point where they didn't want him. They wanted Daniel Bryan, and WWE, for some weird reason, is completely advertent to giving them Daniel Bryan.
And does it seem like they're trying to make Roman Reigns The Rock, that Samoan superstar?
He's supposed to be The Rock. He's supposed to be John Cena, the big smiley tooth baby face that gets the women to come and buy the posters. That is his job. And the thing is, that guy makes the company more money than any if they're successful.
Right.
The fans have rejected Roman Reigns. You need to pull him back and either turn him heel immediately or send him to developmental for a while and let him simmer and repackage him and bring him back. Those are the only options. If you keep trying to push him, you will nuke him.
Right.
And here's the thing. I want to go on to that whole babyface tangent. When you talk about The Rock, at least The Rock worked, and it gave us some space between Hogan and Cena because he turned heel. With Cena always being super face and... What?
Nothing. Go ahead. Sorry.
With Cena being always super face, it doesn't give us any space when you try to fit Roman Reigns in there, and we see that he's going to be another super face. It's going to be like, oh no, please, we're not even done with Cena yet.
No, yeah, we don't want another Cena before the old Cena is gone.
Right, and if Cena had turned heel, maybe it would be that Roman Reigns could be fit in there because Cena would give us that space that we need. We need some space, Cena. That's what we're trying to say. We
like you, but we should see other people.
All right, we want to see other people.
Let me tell you something. Here's the thing that would have turned Roman Reigns' surefire face quicker than any other. You turn him, quote, end quote, heel on John Cena.
Yes.
That will get him cheered faster than anything in the world. I think that boat has sailed, but that would have gotten him top babyface status immediately, which is a bad sign for your booking committee.
Right. Okay, but overall, we've talked about the individual matches. How do you think this overall WrestleMania will look? Because here's the thing. There's no Roddy Piper versus Goldust type matches. I don't see any super gimmicky stuff.
I don't see anything on the card being catastrophically bad at all. which is a first for some of the recent WrestleManias.
Right, here's the problem, though. I feel that it's going to be like some of the bad recent WrestleManias in the sense that it's going to be star-fucked. It is going to have a bunch of fucking artists, musicians, or whatever filling up time.
I haven't heard one announcement of a celebrity that's supposed to be appearing. I was going to say exactly the opposite. I'm worried it's going to be a little lackluster. Because correct me if I'm wrong, Arnold Schwarzenegger being inducted to the Hall of Fame, that's the only celebrity I've heard of appearing so far.
Yeah, there's not a lot of announcements.
Well, usually they like to surprise you with something.
They'll surprise you with some, but usually they'll like advertise, this shitty rapper Pitbull or some shit is gonna be there, and no one gives a shit. Well, the biggest celebrity that I've heard of getting involved so far is Maria Menounos is helping with the pre-show. That's literally the most I've heard.
Right, but in a sense,
can I take a second to? I'm going to take a second here, and I didn't plan this, but I'm going to take a second right now and talk about the Hall of Fame ceremony.
Right.
WWE has made a giant mistake. WWE, Jerry the King Lawler will not be the host of the Hall of Fame this year. Instead, they have searched the whole company, and instead of Renee Young, who is amazing, talented, a fantastic PR person, intelligent, huge wrestling fan. Instead of her, instead of, say, somebody who understands what they're doing and knows who they're talking about and will do justice to the Hall of Fame.
Instead of JR.
Instead of
Matt Striker.
Eva Marie.
You're shitting me.
Fuck!
Eva fucking Marie will be your host for the Hall of Fame this year.
No, that's it. I liked the inductees.
I'll still be watching because I love the inductees this year.
I missed it. Who's inducted actually?
I don't know.
Wow, you are off.
Yeah,
I don't know the whole list. Go ahead and talk. I'll look.
No, it's Scott Hall. Scott Hall. No, he was last year. Sorry, never mind.
Go Jordan.
It's because Kevin Nash. Kevin Nash is in there. He is
Arnold Schwarzenegger for the celebrity wing. That much.
Arnold Schwarzenegger. Medusa.
Medusa, really? They're putting her in the.
Yeah. That's what everybody's been talking about.
Medusa. Hold on, I'm pulling up a full list here. So 1 second.
Not Scott.
But
Hall.
no, I know
Scott
Medusa.
Hall.
I know Medusa will be involved.
Maybe I need some DDP yoga. Get me on track.
Is DDP in the Hall of Fame? He's in the Hall of Fame, right?
DDP is not in the Hall of Fame yet.
What?
I know. I speculate that his work, basically saving wrestlers' lives, will get him in. All right, so for the Hall of Fame this year, we have Randy Savage, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Kevin Nash, Rikishi, the Bushwhackers.
The Bush, that's right.
Alundra Blaze, not Medusa, sorry. Yeah. Medusa's the one who threw the title in the trash can.
No, I thought that was... No,
it's the same person.
Okay, I'm just...
Larry Zbyszko, who, honestly, that might be, with the exception of Randy Savage, that might be the one I'm most excited for.
Right.
I'm a big fan of Larry Zbyszko coming from the Minnesota area, and he's got a soft spot in my heart, so I can't wait for that. And then a Japanese wrestler by the name of Tatsumi Fujinami will be inducted. Nice. And the one that kind of pulls at my heartstrings, Connor McCallick, you know him as Connor the Crusher, will be inducted into the Hall of Fame, receiving the first annual Warrior Award. And this is the coolest thing I think I've seen WWE do in a long time.
Yes.
Connor has become kind of a mascot, sort of a face of the WWE fans. We've all fell in love with him. Most of us cried when we found out he passed away. And hearing that he's going into the Hall of Fame is not only a big plus for us, but the family and his memory. And I think it's a really cool thing. And I think it's a really awesome thing that Connor's getting inducted this year.
And just so people know, it's so sad, I'm not being sarcastic. It really is a hard thing to look at and not cry.
It's rough, and some of the and this is partially, honestly, because of the WWE video package people are so talented. They have put together some of the most amazing Connor McCallick tributes I have ever seen. And they've been airing them on the network and on Raw and shit, and I cry every goddamn time they play it. Really is. It's hard. I fell in love with that kid. It was so cool to get to see him hang out with his hero, Daniel Bryan, and all that shit. And it was rough to hear that he passed away, but I think him going into the Hall of Fame is a fitting tribute, and it almost feels like a thank you to all of the WWE fans. It feels like a recognition to every fan who's lived and died with wrestling. And I know it's just a goofy little entertainment and sport, but it means a lot to a lot of people, and it meant the world to that child for a while.
Yes.
And I think
this is
being inducted
really
into
hard.
I know getting inducted in the Hall of Fame is one of the coolest things I've ever seen. And so even if Eva Marie will be
Let's make it silly again. Pull back from the crying
before we sign off. So I think this is going to be an enjoyable WrestleMania year.
I think
the lead up wasn't that good, but
I think the show itself will be very good.
It can be if it's done right.
I don't see it being a catastrophic year.
No, it's not going to be one of the worst.
It's not going to be WrestleMania 14 or 7.
Oh God.
But yeah, that's it for us for this year for WrestleMania. We'll probably be doing a podcast post WrestleMania to kind of talk about complaining about everything that happened. Thank you very much for listening, and as always, remember, it's a show. Just try to watch it and enjoy it. Thank you very much. Good night.